My friends, welcome to a new edition of NEWSHOUND. Hi, it's me, Johnny Vedmore, here again as your presenter of this show, NEWSHOUND, where I go through the newspaper archives and have a look at something. Sometimes I do it kind of ad hoc. So um, I take a little scan beforehand, have a little look. I kind of know which direction I'm going in anyway, because I'm used to looking through newspaper archives now. Yeah, I used to scanning them. So this one's going to be maybe a tiny bit messier and more full than a lot of the other ones. I'm not going to read every article here. I'm going to read parts of articles because there's probably about 30 articles I've got lined up to have a look at from the past. And some of these articles are extremely interesting. And yes, we're going to look at some of the Musk family tree. We're going to do like a Musk family part one. And we're going to start off by, we will cover tiny bits of the extended members of the family, but we're going to look at Mummy and Daddy Musk first, Maye Musk and Errol Musk. And I'm not going to go all the way back into Errol Musk's past and etc. I'm going to do some light sort of reading, but I want you, and I think you will see a narrative appear over time, and what this will do will give you a better understanding of where Musk come from, because most people, like when I do family history stuff, when I did Schwab family values, I went back in history, discovered that Klaus Schwab's father was the head of Escher, which is a Nazi model company. Now in the past, it's more likely you'll find the father is the one who's done stuff, is the one who's inspired their children, is the one who their children follow in the footsteps. And that's because the previous eras that come before us are a lot like that. They're very sexist. We know it. The women didn't take so much of a part in business and etc. I mean, during World War II, in Germany, Britain, France, America, it didn't matter where you were. Most of the women were working in the factories and making sure the home fires were burning, kept burning, as they say, while a lot of the men went off to work for the war effort, either went conscripted into the army, navy, air force, or they would be doing something else that was to do with the war effort, like Schwab's father, who was running a Nazi model company called Escher, helping with the German atomic bomb project, making submarine parts, making aircraft parts, and other things. So it's normal in the past, and when you go back into the past, you'll discover that big players today, who are usually going to be men, because men are more likely to succeed in this world for whatever reason. Whether you want to scream about equality now, this probably isn't a place for it. You can scream about it till cows come home. It won't make any difference because women have children and take loads of time off and men don't. That's really the big difference between men and women. And there's a big effort now to stop women having children and to keep them in this paradigm of men, and there'd be no women anymore in the sense of what we used to in the past. And we'd miss that. I can tell you we'd miss that, and our kids would miss that, because all kids, the mum's more important than the father, especially in the early years. That's a fact. Nearly every time. Especially boys, we all know it. Mummy boys, you've got daddy's boys, but you usually got daddy's girls. It's the way it works. We find the opposite gender to be soothing in some way, exciting in some way, loving in some way, and to give us the part of us that is missing. So as where a boy or a young man or a man would want love and attention from his mum because, it's something he wants to understand himself, he will look up to his father in a different way. And this is something that comes up. I mean, if you're researching Elon Musk and you're researching his family history, like kind of like I'm doing at the moment, I'm not doing it into the level of Schwab. I'm looking at other things about Musk. Each article has its own avenues, has its own turns. You don't do the same thing every time. I can't just create articles that are template style to each person. Every person's life is like a Roman plough, as they say in French. I think anyway they would say is like a Roman saga, like a Roman river. So you've got lots of ups and down, peaks and troughs, and all sorts of things that happen within any type of human life, and it dictates who you become. Is these turns in the river, these bends in the river, and so what we're going to do today is we're going to look at some articles from the past. Some of them will be about Errol Musk, Elon's father. The first part of this will be about Elon's father, probably quite quicker than the second part, because I think you'll see and you'll understand from some of the wording that at least what's being projected onto us, because the actual story that's being projected out to us by mainstream media and the like may not be true, may not be real. So it's as believable as you see it, but it seems to be that Elon Musk's real inspiration came from his mother when it comes to his parents, in relation to his parents. So Elon Musk has a few members of the family, some who invested in business with him. He's got a brother called Kimbal Musk of his immediate family, because he's got half brothers and sisters too. But of his immediate family, he has a brother, Kimbal Musk, who's I think, isn't he older than him? I think he's slightly older than him. I can't remember if he's older or younger, but it'd be only by a few years. He's an extremely interesting character, extremely World Economic Forum aligned. You've got Tosca Musk, who's the girl who does film stuff. She runs, I think it's called Passionplex. We'll come across it in this. And you've got Elon Musk himself, and then you've got these other half siblings from his father's second marriage, which I think by this point, as you'll see in the articles, Elon Musk's relationship with his father seems to have been cast into shade. It seems to be falling on bad times the later you go in their relationship. So it'll be very interesting to see what we got. I mean, some of this, the reason I quite like doing it the way I'm doing it today is that we get to discover these things together. We get to swim in this ocean together. We get to learn about this stuff together. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to start off with a bit of Errol Musk. So please, welcome to NEWSHOUND. You know I like you being here, and I hope that you will enjoy yourself. So, here we go. Let me put on the glasses that make me look like a gay librarian again, and let us look at this. First of all, we're going to start off. The year of our Lord 2016, 14th of July, not so long ago, and we're going to look at this. I think this is a really interesting place to start, just to say this is not just Musk. This is from the Buffalo News. I think it was probably repeated in a couple of syndicated places. It's a little chart that shows some of the ties. So it shows the executive of Solar City, Solar City board member, independents who are attached to investors, and it shows that he has family as well. So Kimbal Musk, his brother, is on the Tesla board. So he's directly related with his companies, but Kimbal Musk is someone who I will cover later. And he's pretty interesting because he's really aligned with the World Economic Forum, the agenda of environmentalism, the agenda of the food agenda. And I think he also gets that from his mum, as you will see. Maye Musk had a big influence on her boys because eventually, basically, she had imprinted her character onto them. And I think this is really important. This is what I was saying earlier. Normally, it's the father, but in this case, it's the mother. The mother has had a massive effect on both Kimbal Musk, Elon Musk, and probably on Tosca Musk, but we'll find out about her one day at other. Lyndon Reeve. Is it Reeve? Is it Rive? I would say Rive. They're probably Rive or Rive, isn't it? But Lyndon Rive and Peter Rive, they're both Solar City CEO and CTO, respectively. They're Musk's cousins, and they're on the Solar City board. recused, it says. That's in relation to Elon takes the blame for actions at Molly's. This is in relation to the article. So you see they mention the family members, but they don't in this article. What they don't do is mention the parents, and the parents are extremely interesting. So here we are at the Oakland Tribune in 13th of December 2014. Elon Musk was an early investor in Palo Alto-based Tesla Motors. He was eager to create a viable new American car company. Now, someone was going to create this electric car company. This was predicted for the future. General Motors kind of skirted around it a little bit, but it seems like that they needed someone who was separate from the obvious establishment, and they wanted this for the future because electric cars lead to other things, and people know this, and he's got his finger in all of these pies, which are Department of Defense pies as well. SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City, these type of companies that have a Department of Defense contracts and applications. And as you see, it will be mentioned courtesy of Errol Musk, who supplied these photos of a young Musk. Look, here you go. Musk, who grew up in South Africa, traveled extensively as a child. 2-year-old Elon sports a football helmet his dad bought him from the US. So you know, these are pictures. Look, this is Elon Musk growing up. These are courtesy of Errol Musk. This is him speaking. Once he joins Musk, Charles Bolden, administrator at NASA, joins Musk to discuss the Dragon cargo spacecraft built by SpaceX. So SpaceX are working directly with NASA, working directly with the Department of Defense. If you think he is independent at this point, you don't understand what independence means. You don't understand what independence means. There's no such thing as independence in the world of someone like Elon Musk. It says over here, independent investors. I don't think they're independents. I bet you they got connections galore. Donald Kendall Jr. and Robin Denholm. No such thing as independence. Not in this world. So they talk about PayPal at the moment. And here we see a mention of Errol Musk. He says, the moment he was out of PayPal and could do something else, it was, let me see if I can launch a rocket, said Errol, Elon's 68-year-old father, in a rare interview. The cars and solar powers are side issues, really, though big ones. I have no doubt that he will get man to Mars in his lifetime. Alexandra Musk, Elon's 20-year-old half-sister, so this is one of the half-sisters, half-siblings I mentioned from Errol Musk, says he sees Mars as humanity's only viable refuge. With all the environmental problems on Earth, the next step is to move to the planet that we can live on, she said. He wants to go up into space himself, but with his own kids being so young, he can't really do that. He'd be gone for quite a while. While he's declined to comment for this story, Elon Musk has described Mars as a fixer-upper planet that over time could sustain human life. Mercury is too close to the sun, Venus is too hot. But even to Friedman, Musk's initial proposal to launch his own rocket seemed ludicrous. So, they talk about this, like, fairy tale Muskian is kind of a fairy tale technocratic story now, I think. There's this sort of story about, I want to go to space, I want to go to Mars, because Mars is the next planet, it's a fixer-upper planet, and it's just that he sees it as the only viable refuge. These terrible environmental problems on Earth. So the environmentalism that was born, this modern extreme environmentalism that was created by people like Morris Strong and others in the late 60s and early 70s, and seen by people like Aurelio Pecci of the Club of Rome as a perfect way to dupe humanity into doing whatever they wanted and reducing the population of all these useless eaters. It's the same agenda which Elon Musk is going down. Elon Musk wants to go to space because environmental the planet is doomed. He is using the agenda, the same agenda that's being used and utilized by the government, by the WEF, by all the other evil motherfuckers in the world, all of them who want to use environmentalism as a tool to gain further control over you, whether it be monetary control or whether it be just like control over your lives on your everyday existence, whether it be control over you individually, personally, and your freedoms and your rights and the laws that attach. These people are changing them. Sustainable development goals, all part of this agenda. And these people are saying, we need to do this because otherwise we're all going to die because the planet won't be able to sustain life. And that is a lie. That is a lie. The planet will be able to sustain life if we stop these same companies who are saying all of this to us from polluting, which they still continue to do, even while they're telling you that you're hurting the planet. So they're polluting this world, they're polluting the waters, they're polluting the airs, and they're doing it and saying, you're doing this. And that is really, it's it's the most common form of gaslighting now from authorities, from scientific community towards humanity. Loads of these people must know the truth. But a lot of these people are split up into sections. So someone who's strong into environmentalism, who has to check temperatures of the ocean, will continue to do so and will measure his grasp. But whether he knows how that fits into the biggest picture is it's very unlikely that person will know, that scientist will know, whether it's man or a woman, will know whether or not those temperature rises actually have a bigger effect on the grand scheme of things when you put everything involved. They'll know just their part, and their part will seem right, and they will put their own observations on top of the ideology they already have. So they already have an ideology of environmentalism. They'll continue to put their findings on top of that ideology to prove it, to back it up. And we all see it happen. And this is what Elon Musk's family say Elon's doing. So understand this straight from the off. This is about modern environmentalism. Elon Musk is on that bandwagon. He stays on that bandwagon. You might need that helmet once the revolution comes, Elon. Right. Elon Musk's otherworldly ambitions. And again, this is another one that talks about Errol Musk. You see, he's highlighted on these. This is from the Miami Herald in 2014. And again, he's talking about now, thanks to the fortune he amassed, co-founding PayPal, and the risk he took on rockets. He got tax-free development from the Department of Defense, extra money from NASA. He's had to pay a little amount of money towards it, his own personal cost. Just gets money thrown at him, and he doesn't. It's barely taxed at all. It's bullshit. The idea that Musk, he's a risk he took. He took his risk. He took a risk on it. No, he didn't take any risk. He's the man who's fronting up the government's efforts to do this. He's part of that effort. Musk has the risk he took on rockets. Musk has a shot at opening up the universe. No, he doesn't. You're talking about going to Mars, is opening up the universe. We have a chance of traveling around the world by going to the local corner shop. So here we are in the Atlanta Constitution. Interesting, the Atlanta Constitution. SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket carried its Dragon cargo spacecraft, carrying its Dragon cargo spacecraft, just completed a fourth trip to the International Space Station. Musk was born in Pretoria, South Africa, to May and Errol Musk in June 1971. Let's get a bit of their background. The oldest of three children, May's father, Joshua Haldeman, extremely important man. Joshua Haldeman, extremely important man. Was born in Minnesota, grew up in Canada, and emigrated to South Africa with his young family around 1950. A chiropractor and amateur archaeologist, he took his family on extended trips in search of the lost city of Kalahari in what is now Botswana. So normal everyday family. He had a lot of money. If back in those days he's able to take his kids to find the lost city of Kalahari in what's now Botswana. Not everybody has that. Errol was born in South Africa to a British mother and a South African father. An avid pilot and sailor, as well as an electrical and mechanical engineer. He made his money consulting and developing properties and retired early. After Maye and Errol divorced in 1980, Elon mostly lived with his father, who says he owned thoroughbred horses, a yacht, several houses, and a Cessna. One of their homes was in Waterkloof, a leafy suburb of Pretoria that was popular with foreign diplomats. Okay, right. So his mum, her father, has got serious links to the technocratic movement. That I'll say that's what I've heard, but we'll look into that further later. I'll demand no. He's pretty important in this. Musk's father owns loads of things. He owned thoroughbred horses, a yacht, several houses. This is not your hero, working class hero. Elon Musk is not your working class hero. Elon Musk is an elite. He grew up with several houses, with thoroughbred horses around, a yacht, a Cessna, in a leafy suburb of Pretoria that's popular with foreign diplomats. And that can lead to other things. What does mixing with foreign diplomats lead to? Art programs that you put your children into. Yeah. Wanderlust ran on both sides of the family. On holidays, Errol and his kids would travel, he said, to Europe, Hong Kong, throughout the United States, or they'd just take the plane to Lake Tanganyika, where Errol had a stake in the emerald mine. Elon would later get his own pilot's license, but no longer has time to fly. So busy, he doesn't have time to fly his little poor private jet, or even his father's. While wealthy South Africans typically hired maids and gardeners, Errol decided that his kids would do chores and cook their own food. Isn't that amazing? Oh, what an ass. I guess it was a bit of an autocratic father to do this, do that, said Errol. I guess I was a bit of an, I'll say that again. I guess I was a bit of an autocratic father. Do this, do that, said Errol, who says he'd been estranged from his older son for several years. I was a single parent and they simply had to help out. Yeah, simply had to help out because you were spending your money on Cessnas. Obviously, it would have been nice if you had someone else to help out, but they just, a poor single dad had to be helped out. They're painting a story of a poor single dad who has Cessna, thoroughbred horses, and a stake in an emerald mine. You have to be an idiot to believe any of that. You have to be an idiot to believe any of that. You have to be. Elon showed nearly interest in computers, owning a sequence, a Commodore VIC-20, a Spectra video, and an IBM. Very nice for a kid at that time. At the prestigious Pretoria Boys High School, where the teachers wore black gowns, he played chess on the high school team, but stopped when he concluded that humans were no match for computers that had begun playing the game. So now he's like, oh, they're setting in this. Oh, he cares about this battle against machines. So much he's going to make you a machine, you cuck. He's going to make you a machine. He's going to put a chip in your head and start making you a machine. To beat the machines, we'll become machines. You've got to be an idiot to be accepting this narrative. Well, that was an interesting little part. Gives us a little bit of insight here and there. Here we are in the Record Journal in 2017. I'm not sure what paper this is part of. This is here. Kimbal Musk Center walks with Linda Basher and Jen Andrews of Shelby Farms Park. Although Musk has food ventures humming along in Colorado, where he lives, as well as big cities like Chicago and Los Angeles, he has become enamored of places like Tennessee, Indiana, and Ohio, part of the country he believes are the ripest for revolution in eating and agriculture. When he says revolution in eating and agriculture, he's talking about the WEF agenda. This guy is down. Kimbal Musk is down with the WEF. And in my opinion, he's the link. He's the person that links Elon Musk and the WEF. So Kimbal Musk is linked with the web, and that means that Elon Musk gets his nose in it too, his nose wet. So this is some people speaking. Unlike some of his colleagues in the tech world, Musk is driven by cooking. Is more by cooking than by the love of a good algorithm. This is obviously talking about the other Musk brother here, but we're looking at the father and mother of the Musk. We're not looking at the Musk. So this is Kimbal Musk they're talking about, probably. Driven more by cooking than the love of good algorithm. Growing up in Pretoria, South Africa, he started in the kitchen at age 12, making meals as a way to bring his family together. Look at this. Building this fairy tale story. He was bringing his family together. That's never the way it works. It's like, who's cooking tonight? I don't know who's cooking tonight. Okay, well, the only one that bothers cooking is going to eat, and he may as well cook for everybody else. When I was, I must have been about 7 or 8, my father taught me how to make dough for pizzas. And he taught me how to make dough for pizzas so that I could make pizzas for the entire family. And he soon after taught me how to make pizzas for the entire family. So I used to make the dough, used to put it in the airing cupboard or the closet where where your boiler is, to expand overnight, and then I used to make pizzas for the next day. And I was like, I wasn't even 10 yet. I was making big pizzas, really well done. He taught me really well. My dad was a good chef, in actual fact. Taught me really well how to make good pizza base. And then we had like the tomatoes, the cheese spread on, grate it all on, ham and stuff, spread out all over the place, cover it up, put it in, and I made wonderful pizzas for the family. Yeah, I didn't make those pizzas to bring the family together. At 12, he came down the stairs like a messiah. Kimbal Musk is going to make his family food to bring them together. It wasn't that. It was, and I was saying the other way. Oh, there wasn't a maid, so everybody had to muck in. And now it's like, oh, he was making his meals to bring his family closer together. It's silly. It's silly. This is the rhetoric you get from all sides of the Musk family, and there's a reason for this, a reason which we will start to see later on within this episode. His mother, the model Maye Musk, worked as a dietitian to support the family after she divorced his father, Errol Musk, an engineer and pilot. Now, notice there it says his mother, the model Maye Musk, worked as a dietitian to support the family. Okay, so she wasn't a model? Well, she used to be a model when she was younger. Yeah. She's a model when she's older. Yeah, and everybody wants her on the catwalk. She's modeling for old people. Oh, and she's also the mother of the richest man in the world. So, it's not like those fashion designers like to be around the wealthy and the elite, do they? They don't like any of that. Since when have you known a fashion show to be filled with the ranks of the elite and the establishment? It's not like people like Wexner or Epstein turned up to Oh, wait, no, they did, didn't they? Oh, okay. It's not like kings and queens. Oh, no, they do, don't they? It's not like princes and princess goes to fashion shows. Oh, God, they do, don't they? Because that's exactly where the elite hang out. Yeah. At her house, Musk said, it was all brown bread and plain yogurt. At his dad's, he and his brother and sister, Tosca, now a film producer and director, that's loosely put, film producer and director, ate whatever the maid cooked, usually in front of the TV. It wasn't very good, he recalled. So, right. So, back up, growing up in Pretoria, that's when they're growing up while they're living with their father in Pretoria. It says right at the top, look, right. Growing up in Pretoria, South Africa, he started in the kitchen at age 12, making meals to his way of bringing his family together. Yep. Tosca ate whatever the maid cooked, usually in front of the TV. It wasn't very good, he recalled, because at her house, Musk said it was all bread and yogurt. At his dad's house, his brothers and sisters used to eat the food cooked by the maid. So, what? He wasn't making food. He was making food. He was bringing his family together with food, or they were eating the food of the maid. What's going on? Who knows? Because it's all a lie. So there's going to be holes within a couple of paragraphs. There's holes in the story. That can't be good for anything. I noticed that when I cooked, my dad especially would make us all sit down and eat together. He said, I loved it. So he saw that it brought the family together, and his dad would sit them all down and they would all eat together. Oh, and he loved that. He loved it. It brought the family together. So from the age of 12, Kimbal Musk was joining his family. And oh, wait a minute. Errol Musk hates his kids now, doesn't he? That's what it says. He's disassociated with Elon. That didn't do a very good job of bringing them together, did it? Lots of contradictions in the Musk storyline, the official Musk storyline. He graduated from a college in Canada and made his first fortune in 1999 when his brother sold Zip2. And here we go. This is where we go into the story we talked about in, I think it was NEWSHOUND number 7, where we talk about Elon Musk's rise. So just a note there as well, Kimbal Musk is on the board of both Elon Musk's electric car company and his rocket company, SpaceX, as well as Chipotle Mexican Grill. That's in 2017. He's on these boards. Oh, I like it. Sorry, a little bit further down. Set financially, Musk moved from Silicon Valley to New York and enrolled in the French Culinary Institute, now the International Culinary Center. He lived near the World Trade Center, and after 9/11 attack, spent 6 weeks volunteering as a cook for firefighters and other people working the pile. He finally understood, he said, the link between food and community. Well, did he go out and campaign for those same workers and firefighters who had loads of lung damage afterwards from all of the burning asbestos and all of that sort of stuff? Did he help with any of that, or did he just cook for them and then go away? Is that well? I cooked for them for 2. I'm not sure if most of what they say is true, and I think most of what they say is a PR effort that once you scratch away of it, but proves to be not true. So here we go. This article, there he is, the man in question. Oh look, he looks like he's in chess club, doesn't he? In that face. And there's his mum, Maye Musk. Oh, she's so beautiful. You can see why she's a model. The Encyclopedia of Elon Musk. Now, they called it this because, as they'll probably say in it, reportedly, he had read the entire Encyclopedia Britannica, age 9, and he was a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan. Unfortunately, if he ever writes his autobiography, he can't call it Ne'er-Do-Well, the title of Simon Pegg's. Oh, that's so funny. Who's right? Oh, this is the Evening Standard. So this is the Evening Standard. Is George Osborne, the ex-chancellor, and the David Cameron still heading up the Evening Standard? Is it him who's still there? I think it probably is, isn't it? And this tells us a few things that we should know. So, for instance, it tells us that Musk is 6'2" and 8 inches taller than Bezos. My partner, who some of you know very well, said to me when we saw someone in a restaurant. It was actually today. It was today. He saw someone in a restaurant. I'd been having a look at this yesterday. She saw someone in a restaurant, and I was like, "Oh, that guy over there, yeah, he looks like a mixture between Jeff Bezos and someone else." And she said, "Oh no, he's a bit short, isn't he?" And I said, "No. Jeff Bezos is 8 inches shorter than Elon Musk." She said, "How tall is that?" I was like, "I don't know. I just know that Jeff Bezos is 8 inches shorter than Elon Musk." So do the math yourself. I'm not going to do it. But Jeff Bezos is 8 inches shorter than Elon Musk. Musk IQ is estimated at 155. Bezos' IQ is unknown. They're like, oh, look, these two guys are so wonderful. We're going to compare them. Anyway, we'll get down to some of these. And this is an interesting little fact here down here. You got number 14. Errol Musk was once tried for manslaughter and acquitted after shooting dead 3 men who attempted to break into his Johannesburg mansion. Now, okay, right. attempted shooting dead. So he shot dead 3 men. Shot dead 3 men. Right? If you shoot dead 1 man, it's likely 2 men run off. So I reckon those two of those gunshots were probably in the back. Yeah. Who attempted, not who broke in. What they said here, it was attempted to break into. So what they were trying the door. He shoots 1 dead. The other 2 run off and he shoots them in the back. That's probably the most likely. But still, if someone's burgling your place, yeah, right, well, why not have a thing to shoot them? But I don't think they have much of a say over things now. And if you shoot 1, the other 2 certainly ain't coming back. And shooting dead is pretty serious. So that's an interesting note on Errol Musk. And they talk about Elon Musk in a few different articles. Elon's mum has got it going on. Maye 74 is a cover for a Sports Illustrated swimsuit, which we'll talk about later. And they talk about his dad in this a little bit too. Talk about other. Maye is also the mum of son Kimbal, 49. And daughter Tosca, 47, who wrote an homage in the magazine calling her an uncontainable force and the most fearless woman I've ever known. Nearly every person bigs up their mother in their work, especially when they've had such an impact on your life, and she obviously has. So here we are in Star Phoenix. And we're coming to the end of Errol Musk articles that I got up here. I just wanted to give you a quick, brief understanding of who Errol Musk was. Only a little bit. Nothing too much. I'll look into him further later, but I do think it's Elon's mum that has much more influence. And here it says, I'm not proud of Elon, Musk's father says. Now, like all pieces of shit journalism in the mainstream media, this is a real piece of crap article because Elon Musk's father doesn't really say that. He says he's very proud of Kimbal Musk. He tries to put a lot of effort, and they infer that I'm not proud of Elon, Musk's father says. They infer that more than anything. At least that's what I remember from reading this in another article. So let's see if I was right. Washington. Elon Musk may be the world's richest man, but it appears he is still second in his father's affections. What a bunch of wankers. After Errol Musk revealed that his younger son, Kimbal, who is his pride and joy, that it revealed it is his younger son, Kimbal, who is his pride and joy. In an interview with Australian Radio Monday on Monday, the elder Musk claimed he was not proud of the chief executive of Tesla and does not drive one of his coveted electric cars. Speaking to the Kyle and Jackie O show, Errol Musk said he never received a handout from his elder son, who is worth an estimated $260 billion. We are a very frugal, stingy family, said Musk, a South African former pilot and engineer who made his wealth in property development. Now, he already says, we have a very frugal and stingy family, and they try and paint it like he's not proud of his son, but he's clear that he does have pride. And listen to what the actual answer is. Asked whether he is proud of Elon, the 76-year-old said, no, well, okay. So does that sound like unequivocal no, or someone who's making up stuff he has to make up? No, well, we are a family that have been doing a lot of things for a long time. It's not as though we suddenly started doing something. What a strange response. Elon is Errol's eldest child with his first wife, Maye Musk. The pair also share daughter Tosca, 48, and son Kimbal, 49. He is my pride and joy, Kimbal, Errol Musk said, while acknowledging that Elon has surpassed the mark. What, the mark of pride? These articles where they're trying to show that constantly show that Elon Musk is this figure who's grasping for his father's affections and failing, who's had to make it on his own, who's had to do this. They give him this hero worship, and there's a reason behind that. And later on, there will be an article that comes out that kind of expresses that. I mean, we're in the middle of looking at some information about Elon Musk at the moment for Unlimited Hangout, which is really interesting and really has the hallmarks of creating a hero, the hero creation through propaganda, through PR, through positive spin. And it's constant. And these guys can afford it. They got lots of money. He's my pride and joy, Kimbal, Musk said, while acknowledging that Elon had surpassed the mark. Musk stressed that Kimbal, a chef and restaurateur, was also a billionaire. Oh, he's also a billionaire, my son. So he's trying to say, oh, look, my other son's brilliant. He's really good. My daughter's really good. Yeah, my other son has surpassed the mark. Are you proud of him? No. Well, I don't believe it. I don't believe a man who stutters like that when he's been asked those things. Are you proud that your son? I mean, it's such a stupid question. Are you proud that your son is the richest, most successful man in the world? No, I'm not. Bang! What type of person actually says definitively, no, I'm not proud of them becoming the most proudest, the most wealthy and powerful person in the world, or the most influential person in the world in some regard? That's ridiculous. And here we go. We're going to start now. We're going to go back in time. So this is going to be like the second part of this episode, to an extent. This episode looks into Musk's mother and father. And we're going back to, as you see at the top here, Wednesday, November the 24th, 1993, in an article called Lunch. It's been canned. Lunch? Should ask. Lunch? It's been canned. And look, they got this wonderful, I don't know, it's a bed. Look, they rush to their office computer. Then they're to meetings, and then they're rushing around some more. And then they stick something in a cup. And that's it. As liquid meals pour in onto our shelves, we ask, can Mother Nature be contained in a can? And we're going to ask Mother Musk whether Mother Nature can be shoved into a can. And what I want to do from this is show you some of the first mentions. This is some of the first mention of May Musk. Now, is May Musk in any of these newspaper articles that span over the next, say, 8 years, 9 years? Do they call her a model or an ex-model or former model? No, they don't. No, they don't. Water, sugar, and maltodextrin, another sugar, lead the roster, but with vitamins and mineral cocktails also contain such delicacies as pyridoxine hydrochloride, supric sulfate, cyanocobalamin, and potassium hydroxide. May Musk, a consulting dietitian nutritionist for Ross Laboratories, says essentials consist of components of food, and its greatest appeal, she points out, is nutritional correctness and ultra convenience. My clients, big businessmen and women in Toronto, are on the run. They want to have something quick and easy to grab, but they're health conscious, so they want to feel good about what they're grabbing, Musk said in an interview from Toronto. I keep it in my fridge here at the office, and when I work till 8 o'clock, I have it about 4 or 5. It keeps me from going so that I have a light supper later. Some of my clients who used who used to grab a muffin in the morning find essentials is much more nourishing. Dial a dietitian, and then they go on about this other lady. But basically, here, May Musk is a consulting dietitian and nutritionist for Ross Laboratories. She works for Ross Laboratories, and Ross Laboratories during the 90s, during this period, have two different focuses. One is this sort of thing, health shakes, that sort of slim fast style. Oh, you've got your vitamins and minerals in a shake, and I like these things too. I mean, protein shakes and stuff. Yeah, we've got 2 kids in our house, and anybody with kids knows that you make them breakfast in the morning. I feed the baby. I'm feeding the little girl, making her jammy toasty fingers. Mum's running around sorting out the stuff for school and to put in the car, doing little bits and bobs around the house, also sorting out the baby here and there. You don't get much time for you. You don't get much time. Sometimes I get to cook a full breakfast if I wake up like 20 minutes early. And we really feel it. We take our time to sit down and like really enjoy it, because we don't get that much of that. Instead, what we do is we usually tend to make a shake in the morning and have something to eat when we get back from doing the school run and all of that stuff. And some people don't even get that. So, it's quite hard. Sometimes we'll have one of these shake things that she's flogging off here, these style of things, and then we won't be able to eat again till lunch. This is what fast living life is like nowadays. It's quite normal for people. But this back here, it was the birth of this sort of like powdered shakes that were good for you and have vitamins and minerals, made by these companies. But Ross Laboratories wasn't only doing that. In the 90s, they started to enter into the immunization field, so looking at immunization of children specifically, which I find quite interesting, especially due to the current dynamic. But if I say anything more about that, this will get banned off YouTube, so let's not. So basically, she's working for Ross Laboratories as a dietitian nutritionist, but she's a dietitian and nutritionist for most of the media that you see of her. Let me just close that up. So, again, she's mentioned in this article too, but today's fast-paced life has also led many people, not just those interested in weight loss, to look for food options. Look for food options that are simple and effective, says Mary Reid, a publicist for Montreal-based Ross Laboratories, makers of a new essential line of flavored meal replacement drinks. Mae Musk, consulting dietitian nutritionist for Ross Laboratories, says marketing research pinpoints a need for meal replacement. Canadians have become far more nutritionally aware, but unfortunately, the increasing demand of daily schedules makes it harder to always find time for a nutritional meal. Musk tells clients not to use meal replacements lightly and those people who go overboard. But she then goes and talks about that for a little bit. But what is important here to take note of here is, number one, Mae Musk is well aware of marketing, well aware of the like she works for Reed Laboratories, and they have a publicist for this essential line of meal replacement drinks. And our meal replacement drinks, soon we'll have meal replacement meals, won't we, when the World Economic Forum allows. And it is a very futuristic idea. In the past, it would have seemed as nuts. So what you have, like liquid that you drink instead of having a meal. Oh my god, it's the future, we're in space. So this is already like futuristic in that sense. And Mae Musk is very much this type of woman. She's selling something that's futuristic from a very early point in its development. Quite interesting. The government set nutritional standards following a number of deaths linked to liquid diets in Canada and United States in late 1970s. That's interesting as well, isn't it? There was a load of deaths from this from people just drinking shakes and not actually having their meals. Very interesting indeed. As she says, she pinpoints need for meal. It's very interesting that they're very aware. She's very aware of the popular opinion, of course, of marketing, and that is really important in what's happened to her family, because Musk has been marketed up the wazoo. You only get the cult status that Elon Musk gets by being marketed up the wazoo by some massive PR companies and promotional companies. And I think part of that is like, this is a woman here, May Musk, who knows how to do a public image, who put forward her public image. She knows how to do this. So that was 1994. The previous one was she's still working as a dietitian for Ross Laboratories from 1993. This next one is also from 1994. Talks again about quick fix meals equals second class food. That's what they say in here. Marketing analysts say it's partly the result of a flurry of new products backed by a heavyweight ad budgets. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get down here a bit. But today's fast-paced life has also led many people, not just those interested in weight loss, to look for food options that are simple and effective, says Mary Reid, a publicist for Montreal-based Ross Laboratories. Blah, de, blah, de, blah. Canadians have become far more... Oh, this is the same article again. Okay, sorry that I brought up the same article, but it shows this is how they do this syndicated. So the last one was in one newspaper, and this is an Ottawa Citizen. So they like to do this. And as you see, the Vancouver Sun is advertising her book that she had come out with Macmillan Canada, who are a publishing company. Advice from the Queen of Common Sense Cuisine. Feel fantastic, May Musk. Good Health Clinic. Now, when you know Kimbal Musk's routine of eating and what he says is important within eating, he's just repeating what his mum's been saying for decades. That's all he's doing. So his mum, these guys, their mum is a great influence to him. Great influence. Over the past 24 years, registered dietitian nutritionist May Musk has helped thousands of men, women, and teens change their bad eating habits, lose weight, control stress, and manage chronic diseases. Any note about her being a model here? You seen any notes about her previous work as a model? You can see her modeling her book here. Look, May Musk, Good Health Clinic. Look, she's smiling. Ah. Up-to-date information on antioxidants, pesticides, sodium, caffeine, and alcohol. The goods and bads of fitness routines, exercise medicines, and vitamin supplements, healthy meal plans. This is all very futuristic way of living, especially in the mid-90s. This is in 1996. So she's already worked for Ross Laboratories for a while. She's been plugging this out there. She's known. So she puts forward then this Feel Fantastic, a book by May Musk. And I can tell you, if you go to Macmillan Canada's wiki page, you're very unlikely to find May Musk as one of their recorded authors. I don't think this book did very well, I'll just say that. So, again, a year later, 97, you've got her appearing, May Musk, and enhance your professional image. Now, here you go. Here you go. I've already mentioned, look, she knows promotion. She knows marketing. She knows these things. This is the San Francisco Examiner, so pretty much far away from Canada. But May Musk, a year after that book, is doing these sort of like in-person courses and speeches. In this case, it was Wednesday. What are we in again? We're in the San Francisco Examiner. This case on Wednesday. Well, I don't know. I don't know what date this exactly would be, but the Wednesday of this week in 1997. Image improvement. May Musk on enhance your professional image. You go free. Now that's very interesting, isn't it? She's not only a dietitian and nutritionist. She also knows how to create a professional image, enhance your professional image. So her kids are, at this point, already making bundles of money. And she's already an expert in certain things, including marketing and enhancing your professional image, PR, promotion, and all of this. And this leads us to the argument is, Elon Musk, did he have his own character? Or was his character embellished by his mother, increased by his mother, and carefully manipulated by his mother so that he could have a better professional image and that he could have the superhero type image that he gets now? and here you go again. Look at this. They're talking about loads of things about food and how, yes, Olestra hits gourmet capital, San Francisco Examiner. Will Bay Area residents embrace a controversial substitute? By Catherine Seligman. I wonder if she's any relation to the Seligman who come up in a few articles that I've looked into. Interesting family name, that's for sure. Anyway, they're talking joining the free-range chicken, organic goat cheese, and fresh buttergreens. New food arrived here in the nation's gourmet capital this month. Fat, that is fat-free. But if you're not a chip junkie, you might not know it. Chips made with controversial fat substitute Olestra have tiptoed into the supermarket shelves. Frito-Lay, makers of fat-free line Wow, as in wow, they taste like real chips, quietly rolled them out on the West Coast in the second week of February with little fanfare of advertising. Now, okay, that's interesting. Why would you roll out a new product line that's sensational and tastes like real chips without any fanfare or advertising? That makes no sense, does it? Olestra maker Procter & Gamble says the well-publicized potential side effects, the inspiration for websites devoted to Olestra haiku odes and references to anal leakage and fecal incontinence have been exaggerated. Oh, sorry, I skipped some of I did skip some of that. I can help it. And let's read back from there. Let's go back to the start. I want to read that again. The company, she said, will let consumers issue their own verdict on the chips. So they didn't provide any marketing. They didn't provide any fanfare. They got this new way of cooking chips in this oil, but they're going to do it quietly. Like they've got something to hide. They're all looking through newspapers with little holes in, their eyes poking out. That's what they're doing. Hey, we're not here. We're just checking what you're doing. Oh, you're eating our chips, are you? Which look and taste like the real item, but carry a warning label that advises they may cause abdominal cramping and loose stools, as well as inhibit absorption of some vitamins and other nutrients. You want a bag of crisps? Oh, good. Get ready to shit yourself. These crisps are so great, you will shit yourself till the cows come home. You really will. Loose stools galore, abdominal cramping, some vitamin and nutritional problems. Don't worry, you want this bag of crisps. Crazy potato chips that cause you to poop out your backside quicker than anyway, Speedy Gonzalez. Olestra maker Procter & Gamble. Would you trust anything Procter & Gamble were making? Says the well-publicized potential side effects. I'm reading it again. It's so good. Reading it twice. The well-publicized potential side effects. The inspiration for websites devoted to Olestra haiku odes and references to anal leakage and fecal incontinence have been exaggerated. The company say Olestra provides the mouthfeel of fat without the guilt. And poo streaming out your butt. Mouthfeel aside, I'm not sure. What does that taste like? It tastes nice. How's the mouthfeel? What are you talking about? Mouthfeel? I don't know, but I've just started pouring liquid out of my bum. I don't want to. Yes, but what about the mouthfeel? Don't ignore the liquid out of your bum. Think about the mouthfeel. Mouthfeel aside, will Bay Area foodies embrace the faux fat? Under no condition, not even on a bet, says restaurateur, food commentator, and critic Narsai David, a chip devotee who inhales the real thing when he sees them at parties. I'm not even interested in tasting them. Out of curiosity, Chef Gary Danko of Viognier and in San Mateo cooked 2 Procter & Gamble sponsored dinners for food professionals recently, and everything from salmon artichoke fritters and potato dauphinoise were made with Olestra. The dinner tasted fine, said Danko, who had to endure some ribbing from Gourmet colleagues. It didn't cook any differently from other oils. I ate the stuff for 2 days and had little flatulence from it, but that's all. He had little flatulence, but not much else. Waiting for I'm not sure if this is anything to do with Musk, but I'm having fun now. It remains to be seen whether the snack will be devoured at Bay Area consumers. I shower you with praise, is what Richard Steckler told a Procter & Gamble hotline when he nibbled Olestra's ruffles recently. Stickler, a 60-year-old TV engineer who lives in San Francisco, had given up chips years ago to help maintain a low-fat diet. He was browsing the chip aisle at Lucky's when he spotted the new snack. I bought the package. By golly, it was as good as the real thing. I was streaming diarrhea out my backside all night long. He doesn't say that. Dietitians from the Mount Zion Hospital palmed a few handfuls at a Procter & Gamble-sponsored forum recently and proclaimed them tasty. Well, holy hell, get all the Olestra out and shit in of my breeches. Dietitian Mae Musk and consultant hired by the company to help finesse Olestra's debut. It's non-marketed, non-promotional. We're not saying anything. Quiet rollout debut where everybody's talking about you shitting liquid out your ass. She introduced the new chips, explaining how she was at first wary of wolfing them down. The reaction, if unmerited, is common, she said. Just ask the internet writer who, for the sake of science, wore the same underwear for a week when he experimented with Olestra chips, then documented every serving and subsequent bowel movement in graphic detail. Ole, Olestra, ends his ode. The new unfat is actually a substance synthesized from sugar and vegetable oils that remain stable at high temperatures and have molecules so large they pass through the body undigested. Wow! So Mae Musk goes to work for the shit-firing Procter & Gamble's Olestra rollout, and honestly, is any of that positive? I don't think any of that is a positive about Olestra fat and these chips that make you fire poo out your bum. Wow, yeah, Ruffles, wow. Fat free, cooked with real poo fire. So by that time, Mae Musk is working for Procter & Gamble, putting out stuff that goes through your system undigested. And she's supposed to be a nutritionist and dietitian. And it's no surprise then that it's around the turn of the new century, not long after that last article, that Mae Musk is leaving her dietitian and nutrition fast behind her to become a model. Still, she appears here and there to speak about her stuff. Mae Musk, author of Feel Fantastic and Executive Stamina, will be at Niketown, 6 East 57th Street between 5th and Madison Avenue from 6 to 7:30 p.m. to give nutritional advice. Oh, eat these chips that make you poo blood. Yay! As you can see, that is ridiculous. But this is what she's doing. What she's doing is she's working for Ross Laboratories. She's working for Procter & Gamble. And what is she doing? She's putting out new food, neo food. She's putting out this new food that will be akin to space food. Isn't it interesting that she's doing all of this? She's looking well into the future, isn't she? Maybe too early to look so far into the future. Here, Mae Musk has gone back to milk. And this is from milk is the latest beauty beverage. Expert says nutrients in milk help keep skin soft and bodies lean. So now it's just milk. She's no longer flogging any powder that's got vitamins in and stuff like this. She's not flogging poo creation devices like gaseous fat substitute Olestra. No, May Musk is now just going milk. Buy some milk. So they talk about milk being good for you, and then it says, milk may just be the best kept beauty secret, said registered dietitian and model May Musk, MSRD. Considering milk's unbeatable package of nutrients that can help you look and feel your best, it's critical for women to feel at least to drink at least 3 glasses of low-fat or fat-free milk every day. Milk is probably best known for its concentrated source of calcium. Each 8-ounce glass is packed with about 300 milligrams, about 30% of your recommended daily intake. So here, she's saying a lot of this. Calcium is also a beauty nutrient. This mighty mineral keeps bones sturdy and strong to help you avoid stooped posture from osteoporosis. Aim for at least 3 glasses of milk a day. Additionally, the calcium in milk promotes healthy teeth, so you'll keep your pearly white smile. Milk is one of the few dietary sources of vitamin D, which is critical for absorption of calcium. Vitamin D makes sure your calcium is deposited in your bones and teeth to keep them strong and healthy. The bottom line, there's no better beauty beverage than milk, said Musk. Continue to enjoy the array of milk-based beauty treatments. 3 glasses of milk. These are beauty treatments. Oh my God, I can't eat any more Olestra products. I'll be pooing out my eyes. But don't forget, you need to really drink your milk if you want the most understanding results. For more information, please visit www.ymilk.com, which she's obviously working for ymilk.com at this point. So, yeah, I think she put too much Olestra chips, and she got on to and we're going to skip through some of these now. Some of these aren't going to be interesting. But we've already made the point. So now we're on 2002. And there's little mentions of it in Philadelphia Daily News. By this point, Elon Musk is one of the richest guys in around already. He's won big from the sale of PayPal. He's gone into looking into doing SpaceX and Tesla and all of this by this point. So people have recognized him as being a big player. He's got loads of money to invest. And he's going to invest it. So May Musk now gets a lot more coverage in a wider array of magazines over the world, including in America, much more. The Light and Lively Long Live You event at Shops at Liberty Place last week drew hundreds of Philadelphia women seeking advice about healthy eating and good calcium levels. The event included cottage cheese lunch. We were focusing on fat-free sources of calcium to prevent osteoporosis, said Manhattan-based nutrition counselor May Musk, who spoke one-to-one with women. At this point, she's a Manhattan-based nutrition counselor rather than a dietitian. Whew! Here we go. And again, milk. She's talking about milky milk. So she's your milk spokeswoman. 2002, she's Milky Moo. 2003, what's she doing? Is she still on the milk? Actress gives age a new definition. Age issues. Of course, they're going to be talking about age issues. When middle-aged women may be making strides in the boardroom, in the image industries, the plum jobs are still too rare. Take New York-based Canadian model and nutritionist May Musk. So now she's a model. Now everything you'll see from here on out calls her a model. You don't see any modeling happening. She's called a model. So she's a model for oldies now. The 55-year-old Bond snagged the best contract of her career 3 years ago as one of the faces of Clinique's Happy Fragrance. Her image appears on Mother's Day and Christmas marketing blitzes. So is that the start of her modeling career? Is it? She's 55 and she snagged a wicked contract as the face of Clinique's Happy Fragrance. Clinique's Happy Fragrance. Oh, that's good. Yet she still finds herself underemployed. I think in 5 years, I'll do better, she says. She's right. I'm often told I don't look old enough. That's what most models are told. Not. Smits is clearly familiar with a scenario. She notes the theory that actresses should retire between the age of 40 and 60 because the industry doesn't know what to do with them. Blah, 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 blah. So that's interesting. Again, Maye Musk is there, noted down as a model, and it says that basically her biggest role came as Clinique's Happy Fragrance, the face of Clinique's Happy. One of the faces, not even the face. She's one of the faces. I suppose she got into the older marketing when she had eaten enough of those non-fat chips to need to wear adult diapers. Yeah, I think that would be it. Anyway, that's the Tyler Morning Telegraph, which have some fantastic stories. And here you go. Here's meet Jacques and Claudine Pepin. You're invited to join the world-renowned chef Jacques Pepin and his daughter Claudine, promoting prominent cardiologist Dr. Theodore Fellman and dietitian Maye Musk for a free health cooking demonstration. So this is something that was happening in Florida. I thought I'd include it so you can see. In 2009, we're going to skip to. So we're already skipping quite far ahead. Now, this is Musk's already pretty famous and is already getting on. So people should be really mentioning who Maye Musk is, but they're not. They're still talking about her on her own, and that will change soon. Soon she will be Maye Musk, Elon Musk's mum. That's what she'll be after a while. Eat sensibly and try not to splurge. Unfortunately, there's no magic skin gene pill, but knowing you have some control over your genetic blueprint can motivate lifestyle changes. Tall and trim, Maye Musk has been professional fashion model for more than 40 years. Well, from the 90s onwards, there's not a mention of her being a professional fashion model for more than 40 years. It's only mentioned when she had the role of her lifetime as Clinique, the face for pooey nappies or whatever it was. You know, this fashion model for over 40 years. Okay, she may have done it earlier on, but she was a nutritionist and dietitianist for Ross Laboratories and for Procter & Gamble for years, wasn't she? She wasn't a model. At 61, her hair has turned from blonde to silver, and she's found new popularity as the Ford Modeling Agency because of clients want older models that exude glamour and health. But she wasn't always slim. Everyone in my family is overweight, and I actually started my career as a size 16 model. Now I'm size 8, but I have to fight my genes every day. I try to eat perfectly every day, not to let the wheels come off with too many splurges. And although I don't always enjoy it, I am disciplined at going to the gym, and of course I walk as much as I can. Musk, who is a registered dietitian in New York City, says that although she's armed with the facts on food and nutrition, sheer determination helps keep her at a healthy weight. The ability to do so is probably in her genetic code too. Yes, genetic code. Be bold, counsels 69-year-old Saskatoon-born model Maye Musk. This is obviously the province. It's obviously Canadian magazine because they like to mention where she was born. Who looked ravishing in recent British fashion awards. So now, this is 2016, and suddenly Maye Musk is attending the British Fashion Awards. If it feels right, go a bit punk in styling, especially if you're grey. Alternatively, adopt a classic sculpture, La Costanza Pascolatas, or wear loose ways like Franca Sozzani, Italian Vogue's editor-in-chief. So, model Maye Musk, as it says over here. Wait a minute. This is sometimes happens with some of these archive sites. They don't like to come up too quickly. Go a bit punk with your styling. So she's giving modeling tips. 2016, she's giving modeling tips in Canada. And there you go. This is where the first mention of her in 2016, you think it'd be much earlier than this, but 2016 is where the first mention of her. Maye enjoys her grey naissance. Women want to look good for their age, say mother of Tesla's CEO. And this is where she starts to be recorded as it was Maye Musk, a 68-year-old fashion designer veteran, who proved that age was no barrier for impeccable style. Oh, so boring how they put these things together like this. Oh, look how wonderful this woman is who brought up this wonderful guy. And it's such hero worship. We're not going to stay here. I just wanted to show you. This is the first moment in the Windsor Star, October 2016 is when they first start talking about this within this newspaper archive exclusively. I'm sure there's others that are earlier, so it's just a good way to judge roughly when people started to talk about who she actually was. And grey naissance, they talk about grey naissance here again. It's something they want to do. So it became a street style start fashion week, making it clear that grey naissance is set to last. So this is all grey naissance stuff. And here we go. Let's go down to this one. This one, again, uses the same picture. Activism and escapades. So here you go. This is Joshua Haldeman, seen with his wife Winifred, and Maye's down here too. And this is Haldeman. He's pretty important. You want to check into him. Only want to check at his family line. So here we go. Haldeman and Winifred's first son, Scott, says his father's determination wasn't broken when Winifred told him she had no time to teach him how to dance. It's one of those romantic stories, says Scott, who's now 73 and lives in Orange County, California. He waited until she was finished work at 9 p.m., then proceeded to pay for several dancing lessons. 6 months later, the two married, a day after Haldeman proposed. The story goes she called up her mother in Moose Jaw and asked, would she arrange a wedding? And her mother said, yes. Who are you marrying? Recalls Scott, born in 1943. 4 more children would follow, including Maye Musk's mother and her twin sisters, Kay, born 1948. So she has a twin sister too. It's interesting. Says up here as well. Winifred later followed her children back to Canada and lived in Canmore, Alta, where she died 3 years ago at the age of 98. Kay, the twin sister of Elon Musk's mother, Maye, still resides in Calgary. Regina-born Maye now makes her home in California. She grew up to become a fashion model and dietitian, appearing Revlon ads on boxes of cereals for Special K's and in a Beyonce video. Yeah, but only after her son got really rich. So a bit suspicious how that happened. A sense of adventure and dreaming big appears to run in the family. Nowhere is more evident than the latest generation with Elon Musk, who sets bold goals for the future of space travel and Mars colonization. I worked about 70 hours a week. He makes me look crazy, lazy, says Scott Tulin, who watched Musk do chores at his Waldeck farm 20 years ago. Got to see the cousin's dream on display when he visited Maye last fall in California. It's amazing California, obviously, because Palo Alto, Elite, the Silicon Valley, and that's, of course, The facility, rocket production facility, is for SpaceX. It says there. Very interesting stuff. So I think we're getting to see a little bit of it. I mean, there's a lot here, so we're going through quite quickly. And like I say, this is cut down, whacked together, and amazing. Now, this is really interesting as well. Diversity in advertising industry reaps awards. New York cover girl executive Ukon Ojo was struck when a team from an ad agency entered a room to pitch ideas for revamping the cosmetic company image. For the first time in Ojo's more than 20-year career in business, she found herself working with an African-American creative director. That meeting would ultimately result in a marketing campaign that challenges conventional ideas about beauty. It features celebrity women from a spectrum of races, ages, and professions, including Issa Rae of HBO's Insecure, motorcycle racer Shalina Moreda, celebrity chef Ayesha Curry, and dietitian Mae Musk, 69. Now, when they're talking about this is, oh, look, we started doing this thing where we started including old people. But they're not just including old people, they include old people who just happen to be the mother of the richest man in the world who's been the most influential man at this period. So, it's no coincidence that they include her. Right, the Fort Collins Coloradian talks about Mae Musk. Of course, this is more about Kimball's Musk restaurant because he's based in Colorado. And again, it just mentions his mother, Mae Musk, was a nutritionist who drilled eating healthy from an early age. Well, what? Eating what? Stuff that makes you spew diarrhea out of your butt. Right, so what else? And here we go. Dolce and Gabbana have Mae Musk on their thing. This is 2018. Everybody wants Mae Musk. Mae Musk means now contact Elon Musk, and that's what they're after. I doubt these people are after anything else. And they talk about they got a few they got in Los Angeles here. This is, I suppose, this is from the Dolce and Gabbana show. And there you go, Mae Musk. I'm not sure if that's what could be called beautiful. Both of them look like they're ill ghosts. They look like anorexic ghosts. Well done. And he looks some anorexic ghosts of black people that white people murdered years ago, as we know the current theme is. Very interesting. Oh, Isabella Rossellini, Dolce Gabbana. So she's hanging around with this group of people now, and she's doing a lot of that. That's just to see her there, and she's doing a lot of different stuff by this point. I'm gonna have to refresh some of these pages. So she's going on CBS News, where they're talking about the royal wedding. They're talking about Mae Musk, the mother of Elon Musk. She's now the mother of Elon Musk. Model Mae Musk, mother of Elon Musk, is what you'll see a lot of the time. Still. Here in the Boston Globe in 2018, got nutritionist Mae Musk did such a good job making sure that her children devoured tons of produce when they were growing up that her son, Kimball, brother of Elon Musk, started the Big Green. This non-profit organization funds and installs vegetable and fruit gardens in schools. Musk's family favorite gadget is a magic bullet, which is an easy device that kids can use quickly to make veggie and fruit smoothies from their garden bounty. Oh, wow, you're amazing. You've made a mixer for children to make smoothies out of vegetables. What a clever idea. And how many of them do? They use chocolate, you say? Damn them. Blaspheme. So here you go. Mae Musk, see, she's mentioned all the time. Now, and this is why the last articles, we're going to go through them really briefly and quickly, as you'll see. Mae Musk, 70-year-old, model for concept. What we got? This is in French, but again, supermodels. Mae Musk, supermodels in their 70s, talking about Mae Musk, octogenarian supermodels. Mae Musk, Auntie Good Morning America, early in the morning, probably to talk about how she brought up her son in 2019. Mae Musk on CBS in the morning. Musk shows humility and hubris as SNL host. This is just like whoever wrote this, Andrew Dalton, must have his butt right up. He shows humility and hubris. Oh my God, he's so wonderful. But Musk brought his own mother, model Mae Musk, on stage to talk about what he was like when he was 12. Oh, the casting choice brought criticism from those who felt the show was celebrating a man for his exorbitant wealth in a time of great inequality, and a man who spread misinformation to his huge Twitter followers as he downplayed the severity of the coronavirus pandemic. Oh my God, can't mention that. I'll be banned from YouTube. Playing on Musk's reputation is an innovator. NBC live streamed the episode globally on YouTube, the first time Saturday Night Live has ever been viewed simultaneously around the world. Musk took his first stiff stab at acting in this show's first sketch, the mock soap called Gen Z Hospital. It's so awful. But anyway, he brings on his mum. He's like, tell them about what I was like when I was 12. Build up my repertoire and what people think about me. Musk is being promoted by someone who's a professional promoter at this point. She knows how to do PR. She knows how to create an image. She's taught and trained people how to do this. This is his mum. This is the person who influenced him more than his dad. And this is the side of the family where you'll find the real transhumanists, technocrats. You'll find these guys lurking around. Okay, so. But here, of course, the Edmonton Journal in 2021, we're getting quite close to the end now. The Visible Woman, Mae Musk sets her own agenda, and it doesn't include being overlooked. And here she is. Look, she's a mother of Elon Musk, but she's not going to be overlooked because she's doing all of these things. Attainable goal, blah, 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 outstanding. Well, she's now just like, I'm famous. I have a famous son, and I'm going to make the most out of it, of course. And why not? And here's another picture of the Visible Woman. That's from the same sort of article that's in the National Post. These are often syndicated, published in different places. The Calgary Herald say finding a man, while the others on Mae Musk champions that all women can do over 50. Again, the Visible Woman, they're doing this. Oh, she's visible. She's an old woman, and older woman, and she's visible. And she even starts to make it into these. Almaneka Express has these questions for this little questions about Elon Musk. Elon Musk's mother, Mae Musk, was born in Canada. In which province was she born? Alberta, New Brunswick, Quebec, Saskatchewan. Well, it's Saskatchewan, right? Tell you, but she's gone from being Mae Musk, her own thing, doing PR, working for Procter & Gamble, working for Ross Laboratories, to being Elon Musk's mum and a model. And here is where she starts to appear, as we saw at the beginning. We saw the story on the Sports Illustrated. And she's the oldest woman to grace the cover, and of course it's a way for him to get sponsored. Look, my mum's the oldest model in Sports Illustrated Korea, and I'm the richest man in the world, and we are a special family, and we are superheroes. Again, Mae Musk, Sports Illustrated swimsuits. This goes all around the place. And then they talk in this one. This is a really interesting. Musk's sister building up a romance streaming service. So Tosca Musk, his younger sister, is, of course, entering into her own area. Their force of nature mother, Mae Musk, and she is a force of nature compared to Errol Musk. I mean, that's the person you want. This person you want to be researching if you want to know who Elon Musk is a model who recently published a memoir, A Woman Makes a Plan. For a time, Mae Musk ran Passion Flicks Instagram accounts. Tosca Musk described typical Passion Flicks. Now, Passion Flicks is Tosca Musk's movie, like Netflix alternative, which is about creating movies out of those sort of like novels only mum read, My Son's Dying of Cancer, Virginia Andrews style novels, things like that. This is what Passion Flix does, and they've got a very interesting subscription base. But Maye Musk is involved in this, and this is Tosca Musk as well. So it's an interesting article. It's worth reading to understand the people who haven't talked about much in the Musk family a little bit more, and what they're up to, It's a load of stuff, obviously. So this is in the province as well, and they talk about Maye Musk on the front of Sports Illustrated. And again, Sports Illustrated, it's all the rage. So this got a load: sexism, ageism, and the role of hair dye in women's workplace. They're talking Maye Musk, Sports Illustrated. Oh, she's the oldest one. This is an interesting article that came up. Now it talks. This was taken by all they talk about is Jennifer Gwynn, who was originally Elon Musk's girlfriend at university. Look, Elon Musk. Look at Elon Musk in this picture. It looks like it's a child's head has been put on an adult's body. That body, just look at these terrible shots. This guy looks awful. I mean, that is not style at all. He's had to have his mum and other stylists come in to style him to what he is now. I think his mum spends a lot of time dressing him. I think the Beast costume, New World Order stuff, that was all his mum. I think that's all his mum. She's like, take the mick out of him. I think that's all his mum. I think she models him. So, this picture was taken by his mum and given out. Look at this. Oh, it looks like it's been superimposed. Let's get close in. Let's get nice and close. It looks like they should just stick Lee Harvey Oswald's face over it and be done. Oh, there he is, like smiling. Oh, he's smiling. And this is where we get to the point where, oh God. Oh, hello. This page is lost or cannot be found. So we can't watch too much more. Newspapers, archive sites. To one of the archive sites it's just gone down. So I'm only limited to a couple of articles I got left now, but we're coming right to the end. We've only got a couple more articles left, so I had to leave a couple behind there. And they're talking about here 74-year-old mother Maye Musk working in Christian Dior fashion show. This is the newspaper site going down. And this is the last one. So here we go. The last one. Elon Musk didn't let the responsibilities of becoming a CEO of the third major company curb his Halloween spirit this year. Fresh off the $44 billion deal to buy Twitter, Musk showed up on the red carpet in New York City with what appeared to be a devil's champion costume alongside his mother, Maye Musk. Musk on Monday attended model Heidi Klum's Halloween bash on Manhattan's Lower East Side. In Heidi Klum, the same Halloween bash, the same one that Epstein and Maxwell turned up to. And that time, wait a minute, wasn't it Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell, Prince Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell in the clubs for the pimps and their hookers, pimps, prostitutes party? And wasn't that Heidi Klum as well? She's got some interesting parties, that Heidi Klum, eh? Interesting parties. So I hope you got something from that. Unfortunately, newspaper sites died at the end, so there was like 2 articles I couldn't show you near the end. But what you can see from that, and I wanted this to show you, you take Errol Musk and you take Maye Musk, and which one do you think influenced Elon Musk, Kimbal Musk, and Tosca Musk more? It seems like they all lived with their father more and they didn't like him more. They all hang around with their father more, but they didn't like him more. And they were all much more inspired by their mother, who's this force to be reckoned with. She is a force to be reckoned with. I mean, she's an interesting lady, is Maye Musk. But there's a lot in that history that seems made up and carefully curated. rather than created. Some of these things are true. She was a dietitian, but she wasn't a dietitian and nutritionist in some sort of private sense. She was working for these laboratories, working for companies. So she's plugging meal alternatives. She's plugging milk, which can be bad, but she's plugging it probably for the milk companies. And she's plugging this poo juice by Procter Gamble. And this is really intriguing. She's out there teaching people how to do PR, marketing in these shows. She's speaking at events. Her ex-husband Errol is off the scene by this point. And when Musk makes a load of money, suddenly she starts doing a lot more. She starts getting around. And by 2001, she's suddenly a model. And that turns out is because she's got this Clinique's Happy account. And so she's become this model. But she then claims that she's been modeling for 4 years. So maybe she has. But apparently she was a chubby model before. She was a model for plus-size girls, which there wasn't much call for that back in the day. And I'm sure she didn't get much work. So it's really interesting that they've made and they manipulated the entire family, have carefully manufactured their personas to the public. You got to understand this. This isn't a family that's normal. This is a professional family who are very good, who are, number one, very rich, very elite. Did you have a Cessna in your back garden when you were growing up? Don't think so. These guys had loads of money. Did you have thoroughbred horses? Did you have an emerald mine? These guys were super rich. Were you working for companies like Ross Laboratories and stuff in the 90s, plugging these drinks that were considered to be in a sense, new age, but not new age like a hippie, like new age, like this is space. We'll all be doing this in the future. Meal alternatives. Were you doing that? She was ahead of her time in many different ways, but in a way that doesn't feel comfortable for me. In a way that means you eat fat-free chips and you end up pooing liquid for days. That's the type of ahead of her time, because the technology was not ready. And yet, there's these... Her whole history has been built over time. So she was a nutritionist, dietitian, then she was a model dietitian, then she was a model more than a dietitian, a nutritionist. Then she's doing PR as well. She's doing other things. So she understands the look. She understands what you need to present to other people. And she did that with her sons. She molded her sons around. So as I said at the beginning, I think that when you've taken all of that information, that you're more likely to say May Musk didn't have an effect on Elon Musk's, had a massive effect on Elon Musk's life, on Kimbal Musk's life, on Tosca Musk's life. And Errol Musk had a very small effect on their life. They seem to complain, and they seem to play this sort of play off this dynamic that Elon hated his father. But that doesn't come across. They all seem to be spoiled rotten. They put across this idea that Kimbal Musk was bringing the family together by cooking because the maid wouldn't cook for them, if he cooked, then it meant the maid wasn't cooking, and yet there wasn't any maid. In the previous article, it was said I didn't want a maid, so I wanted to get people in because we had to do it ourselves. In the later article, Tosca Musk is saying, no, we had a maid. We had a maid, and she cooked terrible food. And then in another article, well, because we had a maid, when I cooked, said Kimbal, that it brought the family together. So there was contradictions. Even in eating food at the Musk household with his father, there's contradictions. This is not a family that tells the truth. This is a family that lies, just like the Schwabs are a family that lies. The Musks are also an elite family that lies. And they have presented themselves in a certain way. And loads of people have taken it hook, line, and sinker. They're like, ma, 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 ma. You know what they're doing? They're sucking his thoroughbred horse's knob. They know that they see Musk as a thoroughbred elite, and everybody wants to be in with him, including his own family. But his family have helped create his persona from a very early age. And when you're in a situation, as we've seen in the previous NEWSHOUND about Musk, in episode 7, what we saw is that Musk had a lot of, possibly you could say, bad publicity very early on. And that obviously affected him. And he decided afterwards he had to carefully create his persona. And he did. And he did that with the help. He didn't do that with the help of his father, because his father's no good at that stuff. His father's got wealth. His father can help in monetarily and start off. But his mother, Maye Musk, is the main influence on his life. And you've got to remember that, got to understand that. Because lots of people will say automatically it's his father. But in this case, it's just not. So that was today. We're looking at Elon Musk's parents, kind of a little understanding. You want to look at Haldeman, his grandfather on his mum's side. You really want to look at some of that stuff, because that'll be really interesting. Maybe we'll look at it eventually. Maybe I'll go through Haldeman in the same way. These people are elites. These people are ruling you. And you've got to be seen that you are being ruled. That's it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. You can find my work, my media stuff, especially episodes like this, on fungymonkey.com, and johnnyvedmore.com has a lot of my stuff on it. I write for Unlimited Hangout, of course. I'm on Twitter quite a lot, at Johnny Vedmore. So please get in touch with me if you want to. I try and communicate, try and be in constant communication with the people who watch this stuff, so I can get an idea of what they thought, and if they have any other ideas of why this is the way, or any other information. And it's really important that we understand Elon Musk is going to be one of the big. He is. I think, in my opinion, the one who's going to lead neo-technocratic movement after Klaus Schwab passes away. It's the he talks the same shtick, yet he's distanced himself purposely from Schwab and the WEF, and that's really suspicious. However, his brother Kimbal is attached to the WEF and the rest, so how they connect, because they're close as well. You can read all my work on those sites. Get in contact if you want. We've got to do this together. We've got to understand the people who are about to rule us, because they're going to take over. And when they do, we want to be able to tell people the facts about where they come from and who they are. Not just, we don't think they're nice, or we think they're nice. We want facts. We want to find out who the people are, where they come from, who their parents were, who brought them up, what type of background they got. We want to know these things, because these people are the most influential people in the world. So from NEWSHOUND and Johnny Vedmore, thank you for joining me. Goodbye.
Shaping a great reset for the post-corona era.